Hello, welcome back to Only Pistols. Today we're having a look at a Walther CP3 Match MV. This is a 177 CO2 powered target pistol from the mid 1980s. Let's start by having a look at the markings on it. On this side you've got the Walther banner, the base model CP3, the caliber 4.5 and the markings for the dry fire settings. Test and fire. On this side under the cocking lever, low pressure mark, serial number and made in Germany. And on the grip is the Walther banner. On the top you've got markings for elevation and windage adjustments from the rear sight, and the rear sight is the one bit which marks this out as being a Match MV model because it's got the later proper target pistol or air pistol target sights on it rather than the standard unit you find on a CP, which would be the same target sight rear sight unit as you would find on an OSP or a GSP target pistol, the cartridge pistols. One interesting feature which I haven't seen on any of my other Walthers is the rear sight blade, which you can simply push up and take off. And you can see there it's marked for the aperture, so 3.8 millimeters. And you've got a nice bit of relieving on the rear sight blade itself, and that gives you a very nice fine sight picture with that thin opening. How's it held in place? Sprung ball detents, so it makes it very quick, very easy to change, and if you've got a number of these when you go to the range, different sizes, then depending on light conditions, very quick and easy to change out, and you're not doing anything else to the zero. The front sight, standard Walther, replaceable foresight element, again gives you a size and the ability to balance the sight picture for your personal preferences. Very, very clear and easy to use sights. It's a CO2 pistol, so bulk filled CO2, you get a canister, get it the right way up, and all of them mark the maximum weight of filling. In this case it's a 37 grams that you can fill into it, and they also give the dry weight. The cylinders came in a variety of sizes, so you've got a short one and a full length one. The full length one will actually carry 53 grams of CO2. Filling them, well, you'll chill this down in the fridge or a freezer, just get a little bit cold. You have an adapter. The adapter screws onto a CO2 source. I use an old CO2 fire extinguisher. And then you simply screw the reservoir onto the filler, depress the lever which discharges CO2 into it, release the lever and unscrew it. And as you unscrew it, before you run out of thread, you've got this cut. So as you unscrew it, before you run out of thread, the seal will step over that shoulder and release any pressure that's left in that space. That's the little knobble there is what actually holds the valve open when you're filling it. So you should, as you undo it, get a little hiss of CO2 being released to release the pressure before you take the thing actually off. Having got your CO2 and you've weighed it to make sure it's not over pressure, you just simply screw it onto the pistol. You could also get a handle that goes on the end to help undo it, a handle spanner. Generally, you can undo them just by hand, so just grab the cylinder and undo it. Otherwise, the grip, one-piece hardwood stippled with an adjustable palm shelf, very nicely made, very well shaped, and you can shape it a bit further if you need to. This one fits me very nicely. The trigger, as the same as the CP2, is a removable unit. So you have got a grub screw on this side and a grub screw on the other side here. You undo those and the trigger unit comes out. Not entirely sure why you needed that facility. The adjustments for the trigger are fully accessible with the trigger in place, up through here, through the bottom here. So there's no real good reason for needing to do it. It's meant to be that when you put the trigger unit back in, it will be the same. I've always found it to be slightly different. So I've done it a couple of times because you can, but otherwise I tend to leave it in place. And to be honest, with a match trigger, once you've got it to 500 and a bit grams, you tend to leave them alone because you want to practice with it and train with it in the same way that you're actually going to be using it. Other adjustments on the trigger unit, you can adjust the reach of the trigger by undoing this nut here, this screw here, sliding it down. You can adjust the free play on the trigger here by setting this. The only thing that you have to be aware of is that if you increase the reach of the trigger, it not only goes forwards, but it actually travels. It doesn't just go increasing the depth, but it actually moves down because of the angle that bar that it's sat on. So it's just something to be aware of. The dry fire, set in fire at the moment. To change it to dry fire, lift the cocking lever, and using your handy Walther supplied tool, which goes in there, you just switch that round and it goes from test or fire to test and from test to fire. So in dry fire, lever's cocked, and now you just get the trigger exactly the same as it is with it in live, and that very nice break. Set it to fire, cock the lever, insert the screwdriver and rotate it round so it's on fire. You do have to make sure that when you're altering the dry fire that the pistol is cocked, otherwise you make a mess of the inside. Let's load it up and fire it as we've got it open. Just a standard Diabolo pellet sits on the loading tray, and the probe with its seal pushes the pellet home into the breech. Take up the slack on the trigger, and these are quite loud. It's a CO2 pistol. There's no porting or anything on the end of the muzzle there. You've just got a barrel weight, and you've got the crown for the rifled steel barrel, and that's it. So you do get quite healthy crack out of it, not garden friendly. How does it work? You've got a hammer which is spring powered, and that is quite simply knocking open the valve against the CO2. There's no stilling chamber. Literally knocks the valve open, and the CO2 is sent upwards. I don't think we can quite see the hole, but basically about there is about a hole coming up through from the action. The filling probe is hollow. You see that there. CO2 comes up into the filling probe and then is pushed in directly behind the pellet. So again, just drop that in, pellet goes in, cocking lever, and as you see, quite an amount of CO2 being released. Match MV. This is the top rated or the top version of the CP3. The CP3 standard, as I said, is identifiable by having the earlier sight, rear sight, so the same as on the LP3 match, and the OSP GSP. So that's the one difference. The other difference is the colour. The match MV is silver anodized, whereas the standard CP3 is just straight black. It's a single shot pistol. It's doing about 500 feet per second, so pretty fast and going to give you really good grip holes in your targets. Accuracy wise, yeah, you can see it's pretty accurate. I did this one deliberately just to show you that it can hit outside the black. No, that's just me with a lack of practice. But as you can see, I mean, that's 10x is there. It's more than capable of the accuracy, even by today's standards. And it's an easy pistol to shoot. It's not complicated. It feels nice in the hand. It's probably heavier than today's modern pistols, and particularly with the CO2 canister on the front, that weight is pretty much all on the front. Obviously, as I said, if you use the lighter, smaller canister, that reduces the weight somewhat. If you wanted more weight, Walther made a weight that would sit over the barrel, so you could load up weights over the barrel and they would clamp on. I don't have any of those. So there you have it. The Walther CP3 Match MV 177 target pistol, dating from the mid-80s. A little bit difficult to get absolute production dates on these. They didn't really kind of get featured in very many magazines, and I've struggled to find any dating on it. But yeah, from probably 1982 to 85, 86, that type of range. A very good target pistol still. If you can get one, they're well worth having. Perfectly accurate, as you've seen, and easy to live with. And bulk fill CO2 is quite easy as well. Spares are still available. Authorised stockists will have what really goes wrong, which is on any pistol, is the O-rings. The only thing you need to make sure is you specify that they're for CO2, which if you're getting through an authorised dealer, you will. So there you have it. The Walther CP3 Match MV, a 177 target pistol. If you've liked this, then please like, share, subscribe, and otherwise tell other people about it. And I'll see you again soon with another pistol. Thanks very much.